Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of Wealth After Work, the show dedicated to successfully bringing you in and through your retirement. I'm your host, Kristen Oakley, and joining me in the studio is Ralph Grosso. He is the founder and president of ASC Financial Group. We've got a great show for you today. The title of today's show is Income is the Outcome. Do you have a solid income plan in place for your retirement? You're going to want to stick with us to hear about all that goes into this important piece of having a successful retirement. Ralph, my friend, great to be with you. How are you today?
I am awesome, Kristen. Great to be with you too today.
Well, thank you. I know this is something that you're very passionate about, is really helping folks make sure that they have a retirement built to last. And really, at the end of the day, it's all about having income, isn't it?
It is income. Income is the outcome, no doubt about that.
Yep, for sure. Well, here's the reality. A lot of folks get very used to obviously having a paycheck during your working years. Maybe you're paid every 2 weeks or at least once a month. But once it comes time to retire, that paycheck stops. And it's up to us as individuals to make sure that we turn that lump sum that we've accumulated into that reliable, ongoing, steady stream of income that's going to be able to last us throughout the rest of our lives. And this is what you specialize in doing for folks. So the reality is there's so many challenges to navigate when creating an income stream for yourself. What do you see are some of the biggest challenges when folks are trying to do this on their own?
Yeah, so Kristen, when I started the company back in 2005, I would say 7 out of 10 folks that came to see us had a pension. They had a pension from their company, and we know that that pension was giving them a guaranteed income for the rest of their life.
Right.
Well, today it's actually opposite. 7 out of 10 come in with no pension. What do they have? A 401k.
Right.
And at the end of the day, a 401k is not a retirement strategy. You know, 401ks were designed as an accumulation vehicle to accumulate money for retirement. But the 401k has no instruction manual that says this is how the 401k can be transferred into income, be converted into income and sustainable income for the rest of your life. It was never meant as a pension. Okay, and so what's happening is folks are retiring with the 401k, but they have no idea that they need to convert that 401k into a steady stream of income. And that's where we help folks. Many of our clients come to us with 401ks. And we show them how that can be possible. And then on top of that, we can't rely on Social Security, right? And at the end of the day, we need to own our own retirement.
And to your point, all these things, whether it's a 401k, a 403b, 457, TSP, whatever you might have, these workplace retirement plans, that is actually an account. It's not a retirement plan. It's a tool. Social Security is another tool, right? And then on top of that, we know Social Security won't be enough. We have to add the challenges of inflation and market volatility and sequence of returns risk, which I know we'll get into later in the show. But we have some statistics to share with you here. This comes from the 2023 Schroders U.S. Retirement Survey. And what they did is they surveyed 2,000 U.S. investors across the country just to learn more about the state of retirement readiness and planning and key concerns that folks had about retirement. 49% said that they do not have a retirement income strategy, that they're planning to just take money from their accounts whenever they need it. 57% said they are concerned about not having regular paychecks in retirement, and 23% said that they were terrified. And Ralph, this is really heartbreaking because you and I know that all these concerns can be eliminated when the proper income planning is done. But in your experience, what do you typically see happen with folks who don't have a written income plan in place?
Yeah, so what we have to understand is, during our working years, we're getting a paycheck, right? Maybe once a week, maybe twice a month, but we have this paycheck coming in. When we're retired and that paycheck is not coming in, guess what? We're self-employed. And so now we have to look at how do we replace that income. And so folks that don't have a written income strategy, what happens is that they either do one of two things. They either overspend, right, and begin to draw down their principal. And what happens there, they wind up running out of money. Or on the opposite end, they have this fear mentality, Kristen. They feel like, you know what, I can't spend my money. I'm concerned. I just have a just-in-case retirement. And honestly, we've worked hard all of our life for a nice retirement. We don't want to be in that situation.
No, for sure. I would say it's equally as tragic when people underspend because, to your point, this is the time of life you're supposed to enjoy these things. And there's such confidence when you have this written income plan in place to know, okay, I can go ahead and spend this money during my able-bodied years when I can travel, when I still have good physical health, and still be confident that I'm not going to run out of money later in life. So there's just so many benefits to having it written down and having that plan. And of course, it's overwhelming for folks to try to figure it out on their own. I know that there's a lot of rules of thumb out there that people try to use sometimes. And one of the rules of thumb about generating income from retirement accounts is something known as the 4% rule.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about what that is and why you don't use that with your clients?
Yeah, so the 4% rule, another way, terminology of that is the Monte Carlo theory, and it's exactly that. It was developed back in the 90s and said that, look, if no matter what the environment, if you take 4% of your money out, you will be fine.
Every year,
Every
right?
year, yes. 4% every year, that you will be fine. You'll have enough income to last your retirement. And what happens is that when folks, rely on something like that, if they're in a market-based investment in their retirement years, and they retired in 1996, that 4% rule would work.
Right.
They would have enough income. However, if they retired the same strategy, retired in 2000, they would be running out of money by 2017, 2018. So why the big difference? And you referenced before sequence risk. It's not the risk, it's not the return each year, it's the sequence of return.
When those returns happen.
Yeah. And so what happened in 96? Well, the market went up. And the 97, the market went up. In 98, the market went up. In 99, the market went up. 2000, the market went down. 01, the market went down. 02, the market went down.
We had the lost decade.
At the end of the day, the next 3 years can determine the next 30 years of someone's retirement. And most economists will say today, the 4% rule has a 57% chance of failure.
Wow.
Now, I don't know about you, but if I was going to get on a plane and fly that to California, and there was a 50% chance that plane was going to crash, I don't think I'm getting on the plane.
No, you and me both.
Yeah,
that would be a hard no for me.
And at the end of the day, the 4% rule does not translate to guaranteed, predictable, steady income.
Yes. Right. Yeah. And that's why it just doesn't work, especially in today's economic environment. To your point, I think that's what's so tragic about the sequence of returns risk. One is a lot of folks aren't aware of it, but two, you can't control what the market may or may not do right when you're planning to retire and start withdrawing money from those accounts. So I know there's so much that goes into making sure when you're building that solid income plan, making sure there is that predictable, reliable, ongoing income for someone. But this is why, too, there's no two income plans that are alike, because what you do for folks is build customized income plans. There's no cookie cutter approach to this, right?
Yeah, we do something we call our retirement income analysis. And what this analysis does is it takes a breakdown on your current situation, your current investments, and it looks at income. Where is that income source coming from? How much is that income? But then it takes it further. It will look at tax implications. If we believe we're in a rising tax environment, which I believe is what's going to be happening, we're in the lowest tax environment we probably will ever be in. But it'll take a look at taxes. It'll take a look at fees, what type of fees they're paying. And then it also takes a look at risk. How much risk am I taking when the next stock market downturn, crash if you will, happens, what's my exposure? How much can I lose? So the retirement income analysis is something that we do with everyone that comes in to see us.
Well, I know that this is something that you'd love to offer complimentary to our viewers as well, right?
Absolutely. And so today, if that's something you would like to take advantage of and have this customized, unique retirement income analysis done, all you need to do is pick up the phone and give us a call, or you can click on the QR code, and that will get you started on your journey for having this retirement income analysis done for you.
Ralph, thank you so much. I'm excited to continue the conversation with you. But if that's you at home and you know that you need help putting a solid income plan in place for your retirement, the invitation for you is to call that number on the bottom of your screen and schedule your very own complimentary retirement income analysis from the team of ASC Financial Group. That number to call is 844-918-4867, or if you'd rather connect online, like Ralph said, you can take out your smartphone, just open up that camera app, point, click, and scan that QR code that you see there down in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. That will take you over to a landing page, ask you a few short, simple questions, and then a member of the team from ASC Financial Group will reach out to connect with you to schedule your complimentary session that way as well. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, Ralph is going to share a very powerful story from his own family that sets all of this context of this discussion and brings it on home. Stay with us to find out more about how he developed such a passion to develop retirement income plans for you. Stay with us.
When was the last time you saw your financial professional? Are you getting the most out of the strategy that was created for you? Although you've done a great job finding someone to help plan for your future, are you 100% sure that you were given the right strategy? We can help answer these questions and more with a complimentary second opinion evaluation. We will take a look at what you have in place and then help determine if you're well positioned to get the most out of your future retirement income. In the event that it is not, we can help by making suggestions and showing you how to get on the right path. You wouldn't get just one opinion when it comes to a major health decision, so why would you treat your most important financial decision with such disregard? Call today for your no-cost, no-obligation second opinion evaluation to see if you're getting the most out of your retirement income plan.
Welcome back to Wealth After Work. I'm your host, Kristen Oakley, here with Ralph Grosso. He is the founder and president of ASC Financial Group, and we are talking today about retirement income. Income is the outcome. It's all about having a solid income plan in place, and it's been said that the strategy you use to turn your retirement savings into retirement income is one of the most consequential financial decisions you can ever make. And that's why we're devoting an entire show to this important conversation. Really, the best approach for folks is to be proactive and have a strategy in place prior to retiring. That's really ideal. But here's the reality. A lot of folks in our financial services industry only focus on the investment management piece, and they don't talk about income planning, but you do. So talk about what you do differently for folks.
Yeah, so what we want to do is we see a lot of folks coming in to see us, and obviously they're underprepared for retirement. They're all, our money goes through three strategies, three phases, if you will: accumulation, preservation, and distribution. And it's the latter two that we specialize in. You're now ready to retire, you're 5 years out, you've already accumulated this money. We now need to protect this money, and more importantly, we need to distribute this money over your lifetime, making sure that we never run out of money. I love analogies, Kristen. An analogy that I use with my clients most often is chickens and eggs, okay? Chicken is your principal, eggs is your income, right? So if I'm living off of the eggs and I don't have enough eggs, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna begin to eat a chicken, right? Now, when I eat a chicken, I'm gonna get less eggs.
Right.
And that means I've got to eat more chicken, which means I'm going to get less eggs, and eventually no chickens, no eggs. This is how folks run out of money. And then unfortunately, a lot of them are set that way. They don't have enough interest and dividends, so they begin to have to sell principal to make up for the difference, which then gives them less interest down the road.
Right. That's a really wise analogy, a way to think through it, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I've got a real passion for what I do. And it has to stem to my parents. It's because of my parents. And, my mom and dad, they raised 6 of us. They educated 6 of us. And when my dad retired, he didn't have a lot of assets, but he had a house. That house was in Berkeley Heights, New Jersey, and he sold that house for around $700,000. And he took my mom and the money, and they moved to Florida to a retirement community with, a man-made lake that today is filled with alligators.
Right.
And my dad was very conservative. He put his money into CDs. This was the early 90s, and those CD rates back then were 6, 7, 8%. And they were fine. And when back in 1999, I went down, I visited them, we're watching TV, and the picture tube on the TV began to go. And they said, oh, this happens all the time, it'll come back. I said, guys, do you think maybe we should go out and buy a new TV? And they said, well, yeah, maybe we should, but we have to talk to Vito. I said, well, who's Vito? He said, well, we had our money in the bank CDs. The interest started going down. And Vito, we were introduced to this nice guy, Vito, and he put us in these accounts. Oh, and we're doing so well. And again, 1999, things were very good back then.
Right.
So I said, well, let me take a look at your statement. And when I did, my dad at the time was 72. He had the portfolio of a 40-year-old, very aggressive. Everything was in the growth segment. And I asked them this question: how much money do you want to lose? What do you think they said?
Probably nothing, right?
Nothing.
Yeah.
So we put them in a plan after we went through the retirement income analysis. We put them in a plan that gave them guaranteed income. And they were the happiest people I knew. And I always thought it was because I was their son. But they were happy because they got a check, and they could spend that check because next month they would get another check, and they could spend that too. And so, look, if you're watching today and you would like to have that peace of mind that comes from getting predictable, guaranteed income, give us a call. Pick up the phone and call us so that we can prepare a retirement income analysis for you.
Wonderful. Ralph, thank you for sharing that story and your heart and passion. And I just keep thinking what a blessing it was that you were able to have that conversation with them and change things up for them when you did, prior to what happened in that lost decade. It could have gone very differently had you not changed that for them, right?
Absolutely, Kristen.
For sure. So the key is to be prepared, be proactive. If any of this is resonating with you, if you would like to receive your very own complimentary retirement income analysis, again, this is for no cost, no charge, no obligation. It's simply an invitation to have a conversation to see how the team of ASC Financial Group can help and serve you. We invite you to call the number on the bottom of your screen, 844-918-4867. Or again, you're also welcome to scan that QR code, and that will get you connected as well. We'll be back with more right after this.
The work never seems to end until the day it finally does. After nearly a lifetime on the job, you should be rewarded for all the time you spent working. Whether that's crossing off items on your bucket list, learning a new passion, or rekindling the love of an old one. After all, life isn't over when you stop working. It's the start of an all-new chapter. The one where you're the writer and you get to choose how your story will go. A way to achieve that is by having a clear financial plan to sustain your golden years. The biggest fear most retirees have is if they'll have enough money to maintain the lifestyle they've always enjoyed. Having a plan to help protect you against the curveballs life often throws will help to maintain your lifestyle. Call today to get your free written financial plan so you may live every day to the fullest and enjoy the retirement of your dreams.
Welcome back. You're watching Wealth After Work. I'm your host, Kristen Oakley, here with Ralph Grosso, president and founder of ASC Financial Group. Today's show is all about income. Income is the outcome and really helping folks understand what it means to have a solid income plan in place for your retirement. Ralph, I'm curious, when folks come in and meet with you for the first time and you put together this complimentary written income analysis for folks, where do you even start? How do you go about building an income plan?
Yeah, well, first we start with asking questions. We want to know their situation, what's important to them. And really what it stems down to is, what is your expenses? How much are you going to need each and every month? And once we identify that, then we have to look at, well, what are the sources? What are the income sources to meet that on a guaranteed basis, like Social Security, or if they're blessed enough to have a pension, or then we have to make sure if there's a gap that we make up that gap. So we first want to start with needs. Once we get that established, we want to take it one step further. We want to not just look at what the needs are, but what are your wants? What are your hopes? What are your desires? How do you picture yourself in your ideal retirement? And so that's what we basically do for folks. We show them strategies that can maximize their income and at the same time reduce their risk. And again, that's done through our retirement income analysis.
So if we break this into these two key pots of income, if you will, let's first talk about what are some of the strategies you're able to utilize for folks to create the income that someone needs.
Right. And so for the income you need, we want to be safe. We don't want to take risk with this money. There is a variety of strategies out there. Bank CDs, treasuries, annuities. Annuities, the right type of annuity is the only vehicle that will give you a guaranteed income for the rest of your life. No other vehicle out there will do that.
And the key is the right kind of annuity, to your point.
The right kind of annuity certainly will give you that predictable, guaranteed income. And so that's where we start on the needs section. And then once that's accomplished, then we could take a little bit more risk and start looking at ways to maximize income so that our dividends, interest are going to be there without touching principal.
And then you can focus on the, like you said, for the income that somebody wants, that's where you can do the growth component, right?
Correct. Yeah, you can get a little bit aggressive. Again, we're not big on taking a lot of risk. You know, folks that come to see us in their 60s, 70s, we want to make sure we're minimizing risk and not taking risk. Here's the thing, not taking risk unnecessarily.
Correct. Because there's a certain point where the large gain doesn't help you as much as the large loss could potentially hurt you and damage you.
And think about this, Kristen. When we're in retirement, what's more important, time or money? It's time. We don't have the time. You know, I have clients say to me, you know, Ralph, well, I lost money back in '08, but I made it back. Great. But is that going to happen again? Do we have the time to make that money back?
That time horizon isn't the same when we were working and we're younger, and you know, for 30s and 40s, for example.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm curious because obviously another huge pain point for a lot of folks right now is inflation, and especially for retirees who are on a fixed income. How do you go about factoring in inflation into the income plans that you build for folks?
Yeah, unfortunately, most advisors are not addressing this topic. And look, inflation is here. It's not going to go away. And we would be remiss if we're putting together an income strategy that doesn't take inflation into consideration. And how we structure our clients is that if we can live off of the interest to meet our needs and our wants and not have to touch the principal, that principal's going to be there to hedge against inflation. But not only that, that principal's going to be there to hedge against long-term care costs or anything that may come up in the future where we might need to take some money. And so the whole key is let's preserve the principal and live off of the interest, the dividends and the interest that generates.
And clearly, I know too, because you all engage in the comprehensive, holistic financial planning process. Yes, we've been focusing so much on income today, but strategic tax planning is another huge part about this, because at the end of the day, it's not about how much you have, it's about how much you get to keep. And with the right tax planning in place, you can actually help your clients keep more of their hard-earned money, right?
Yeah, so look at it this way. So most folks have what they call a 401k, an IRA. At the end of the day, as they're taking that money out, let's say they take out $1,000 and taxes are $200, they're left with $8. But if taxes go up and now they got to pay $300, they're left with $700, right? So taxes is kind of like inflation. It erodes the purchasing power. And so it is extremely important to prepare for that as we move into our retirement years, or if we're already retired. It is never too late to put together a retirement income strategy that will not only take care of your wants, that will not only take care of your needs, but will also take care of addressing inflation and taxes. And you can basically do that and start that journey right now by giving us a call at the number on the screen.
Wonderful. Ralph, thank you so much. Again, so much goes into this, and I know you also help folks with healthcare planning, right? If they need that, legacy planning. I mean, there's so much that goes into building a comprehensive, holistic financial plan for someone.
And there's the key, holistic. We want to look at it as entirety and take care of every situation.
Absolutely. Well, we have just about a minute left, but for those watching, how would you sum up today's show for people who are watching who know they need to have an income plan and maybe haven't taken the next steps yet?
Yeah, it all starts with giving us a call, Kristen. Just call us, meet with us. I will promise you, you will walk away from this first meeting saying, hey, I'm glad I called. I'm glad I came in. I'm glad I met with the team at ASC Financial. I feel so much better knowing that I am now going to have a blueprint, a path to follow to get my retirement as stress-free and as possible.
That's the goal for sure. Well, Ralph, thank you so much for being here and sharing your wealth of wisdom with us. And thank you so much for joining us. We know this might be new to you. You only go through retirement once. Guess what? It's not new to Ralph and the team of ASC Financial Group. They've helped thousands of people retire successfully, and they would love to be able to help you as well. So again, that number to call to claim your complimentary retirement income analysis is 844-918-4867. Or again, you're also welcome to scan that QR code and that will get you connected. Thank you so much for being here. Be safe, be happy, be blessed, and we look forward to being back with you next time here on Wealth After Work.